Welcome to Forever Exiled. I'm Justin AK Tags.
And I'm Tyler Recker of Days.
Episode 291 of our podcast together.
Together again.
Here it is. Episode 291. Big shout out to our Patrons. Thanks everybody who resubbed up this week. We love your faces. Patreon gets you access to After Dark, which is just more and more of us talking stuff and things.
It's the best.
It's the best.
If you like talking, which I'm sure you do because you're listening to a podcast, hopefully not watching because you two people suck. We love you very much. But anyway,
thanks everybody who supports podcasts.
Audio only, despite on YouTube.
Except with video.
Except with video. And you said thank you, and I interrupted your thank you.
No, thanks everybody. We love your faces. And here we are, episode 291.
We are. And before we get into talking about wonderfully pointless things, I just wanted to throw out that our heart is out there. We had situation locally in Vancouver where there was a vehicle attack at a Filipino festival just in Vancouver. And so for anybody that's listening, obviously all we have our words for you, but our hearts go out to you. Hopefully you weren't impacted by it. And for those that were, well, I wish we could do more than just give our hearts to you, but it was a sad week this week. So hopefully everybody's safe. And for those that weren't impacted, just give your loved ones a little extra love and appreciation.
How was your week?
Well, I wasn't there. So It was a good week, right? It's unfortunate where there's things that just, I mean, it sounds horrible to say, but they don't happen to us. So it puts things into perspective. My son had one of those things this week too. Like, so obviously it's not like a vehicle attack, right? In the middle of a party, but my son was just, normal street crossing, and the street crossings by our place and between our places are just like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like, if you're a devil driver, this is the route you take to get to wherever you're going in the morning. It drives me nuts. No matter how many flashing lights our city can put up, or you can't make the white lines for the crosswalk any bigger or gaudier without actually making them vertical. Anyway, so my son hits the button, the lights start flashing on the crosswalk. He's waiting, like he's told, and he's not, I get mad if they expect the car to stop. Sure. Like, I don't care how long it takes, but you wait till both sides are stopped until. And we're fortunate where it's a crosswalk where there's only one lane going in each direction. There's not like that second lane where if someone's not paying attention. Are you talking about the first one though that's right by you? The first? Yeah, the one that's right by me. People can come over that hill pretty quick. All the time. Yeah. All the time. And so anyway, he hasn't crossed. He's doing a great job. And then a car just goes, no joke, but like 70 clicks, not even like 50, just completely clueless. A dad that just finished crossing the crosswalk stepped in front of that car and made it slam on its brakes. I thought he was going to get hit, but he was so livid. He probably felt invincible, and he like screamed at that. It was awesome. That is so anyway, I talked to him later, but it was just one of those things where if my son just had an assumptuous attitude, it could be dangerous. We'd be having a very different conversation. So it was very, it's kind of like you went to bed that night just thinking a little bit like you think he's all normal throughout the day, and then at bedtime, he can't fall asleep right away. And it's, he's got the deeper questions and that kind of stuff. I need to pause this though. I can hear myself. Does that help, or do you want to do it again? No, we're back. Let's see how this goes. Together again.
Do you have any idea where we were?
Yeah.
You're talking about your son. Everything's good?
Yeah.
Is he at least
Justin and I were just gone for 30 minutes via our own personal tech support. Glad nobody had to wait for that. Thus, one of the many reasons we do not do this live. The primary reason we're not live is because we don't want to. But this is a very relevant secondary reason.
That's right.
Where were we?
The rest of your week.
Yeah, the non-heavy stuff was all. Actually, there was one more thing. My daughter, my kids, my family. I'm so blessed to have the family that I have, and my daughter. She's very sensitive and literal, as I've said in other episodes, and so we've done our best to help her brain work and understand sarcasm and exaggerations because that's something she just doesn't naturally get. Like when she was younger, for example, I'd say, you finish your food, or I'm going to throw you over the balcony, right? One of my kids would laugh and the other kid would cry because they couldn't, even if they knew it was a joke, like I'd go and no, I'm sorry, it was a joke. She'd be, I know it's a joke, but she just couldn't get past the severity of how literal, what would happen if that was literal. And so anyway, she's come, of course, a long way with that, but we're doing our, was that you or me?
That was me. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Son of a mother effer. God damn it. Hold on. Maybe I can I fix that one on the fly? No, I can't. That was just me. That was work, but I'm going to close that so that it won't happen again, most likely. But that also means that
recording?
No, but it also means that if people ping us in Discord, if I have it, I don't know if it's muted, you might hear it. So anyway, continue.
That's fine. Sorry. Together again. So anyway, so she's kind of like that. And like to her, the most, like when we put our cat down, she wasn't sad. Like she was going up to the body and like looking at the legs, how they would just drop, without resistance and all that. Like it was informative, I guess you could say, to her. She just like, she was sad until the cat died, but once the cat died, she was fine. You know what I mean? Like that's just how her brain works. And so something like an example would be in Despicable Me 2. You remember that? All the minions, they rebel against Gru and they go do their thing and they're in jail. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Number 2, you said?
Yeah, number 2. When they're rebelling against Gru. Okay, so they're in jail. And then there's a time where one of the minions is reflecting on their good times with Gru. He's like past the anger stage. He's reflecting. And his mashed potatoes on his prison plate, he's made in the shape of Gru with the pointy nose and all that. And he's reflecting and he's like half sad or like a happy sad kind of thing. You remember that? I mean, probably not because it's such an insignificant part of the movie. That destroys my daughter. She just feels that pain and she is in so much sadness. Like it's such a difficult movie for her because of like those heavy scenes like that. So last night we had our newspaper row, right? And then we have our pizza day. We buy some cheap frozen pizzas and, we have a special movie night every Thursday after newspapers. And it was my wife's turn to pick a movie and she picked a movie called Flow. Very cool movie.
Good movie, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. So for those that haven't seen it, it's an animated show it's just the story of an animal going through a unique encounter, but there's no dialogue. It's just all specifically from the perspective of the cat. And it's a really, really well done movie, but there's a lot of intense situations, not intense like action and drama, but intense as in emotional strain and ripping, I guess you could say, like kind of like you feel like your heart's going in two different ways. And it was done really, really well. My daughter last night, it was just a sob fest, like those uncontrollable faces where you're just like, and you just can't stop. I felt so bad for her. It was just, but it's good. Like to see those movies.
Does she say she likes it?
She has a hard time communicating about anything for a while after that. And so she's come a long ways, but she'll have a difficult time thinking well about that movie just because every time she thinks about it, those very heavy scenes will just consume her mind. So we had a pretty interesting week. Those are the things that would like happened recently within our week. We had normal, wonderful, sunny day. Like it's basically summer here. I mean, we're going to have probably some blizzard in the middle of May, but probably our weather's like in the mid 20s and the kids are in great health and my wife's job's great, all that kind of stuff. So things are good. It was just one of those, as a parent, count your blessings.
Fun.
That was it. How about you? How was your week, man?
It was good. What did we do this week? We had our election. So that's all done. The Canadian election's done. It's so funny how much faster ours goes than the American one. It feels like every time the American one's coming on, I'm watching it for like a few months. Like, ooh, this is happening. In Canada, they're like, oh shit, it happened last week. You missed it. it's so fast.
Yeah, we had a good vote turnout.
I do like, the voter turnout was great.
Yeah, it was.
So, but what else did I do this week? I'm just looking to see if there's anything besides meetings. No, I did go and see my chiro guy twice this week because I'm having problems. I'm having a lot of problems. I'm going for the shot next week, so hopefully we'll see how recording goes next week because Thursday I'm going for my epidural steroid injection into the tailbone, so that should be interesting. But yeah, I played games. We finished watching The Last of Us season 1.
Oh, so okay. We're all done. It's all season 1, right?
Season 1. Sorry. We won't watch season 2 until it's all out. But we want to rewatch it as a catch up. It was great. It was such a good show. It was funny watching it again because I didn't remember like 90% of it. I'm like, oh, I don't even remember what's going to happen. And then we're finishing watching the final season of Righteous Gemstones, which is a hilarious show. Freaking, that show can make me laugh so hard. And what else? I played. Listen, I have to tell you about this game.
Yeah, I figured you would. I saw your little exclamation about it.
I don't often shout out games. I usually just play, have a good time. Let me go my farming simulator, Path of Exile. I was playing some Last Epoch this weekend, I think. I got to 100 in Last Epoch. Oh, I was having fun in Last Epoch. And then I came across this game called Clair Obscure Expedition 33. And I didn't know much about it, but it looked cool. The trailer looked good. And also, like, for a game on Steam to be $58 is not normal. Normally they're like 79. So I'm like, yeah, I'll wait till it goes on sale. This game is amazing. I think it is the best game I've ever played.
That's like, really cool.
I think I had the most fun and the most engaging, like, just, it's incredible. It was so freaking good. Like the level design, the visuals are just amazing. It, like, seriously amazing. In almost every zone, the way I was going through it, I was just like, holy shit. And then tied with the music, oh my God, the music it's so flippin' good. The gameplay is so fun. The RPG style of it's great. The way you can build out your team is fun. Dude, it is seriously the best. I think it's the best game I've ever played. It was so flippin' good. I was talking with Ethan on the phone this week. We were just talking about other stuff, and he was telling me that he's playing Oblivion, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I remember Oblivion. Oblivion remastered it, so it's out as a remastered game, which is great.
Was it that one, or was it Morrowind, where you gained experience based on just doing what you did?
That was Morrowind. I'm going to turn this down. I think this should stop you from hearing that, because I think you might have just heard a badunk.
Yeah, I heard it.
But you might have got it too. If it was somebody trying to tag us, you rascals.
It's all right. We're good. It didn't come through the speakers, and we totally ignored it. We didn't even acknowledge it.
It's muted now.
Who aren't we acknowledging? We aren't acknowledging
Draenus, or Dr. Draenus and Theta. Refuse to acknowledge you both, and your wife. Not acknowledging.
Yeah, we are not acknowledging you guys.
Morrowind was the one where it was like walking leveled up your walking, and running leveled up your running and stuff. But Oblivion was great. It was such a good game, and they remastered it. So he was playing that. So anyway, we got talking about that, and I was like, man, I'm playing this game, this Clair Obscure Expedition 33. He's like, I've never heard of it before. I'm like, you should check it out. And it turns out it's on Game Pass, which is crazy, because that means that it's free for a lot of people. But I'm telling you, even if you're not on Game Pass, it is worth the money. It is the best. We're not getting paid to say this. Seriously, the best game I've ever played. It was so much fun. I loved it. The story was incredible. Like, such a cool story premise, and the way it played out. I beat it last night. I stayed up way too late this week. Way too late.
Don't you miss that though? Like, because you really, really want to. Like, you're like, okay, I have 5 hours left until I need to wake up. And you're like,
yeah.
No, I can live on 3. It's not like
I didn't go quite that bad, but yeah, no, I know the feeling. It took me 39 hours to beat it. And it does have a new game plus, apparently. I just beat it last night. I was like, all right, I got to go to bed because I want to know the storyline. But it's like, so it's a JRPG. So it's action based fighting. So turn-based fighting. Yeah. But it's got definitely got Dark Souls vibes for sure. Like the way your levels are designed and the fighting people and like that, and that's pretty similar. You gain XP for everything, which obviously we love. But it's got like a Shadow of Colossus-y feel to me too. Like the world, when you get into the actual world itself and exploring the world, oh, buddy, it was seriously an amazing game. I have no idea who the company is that made it. I don't even I did have them up. I don't think they're anyone I've ever heard of before. I don't even know how you see who made it. But whoever made it, like, props, man. It was the best game I think I've ever played. I don't know how to see who makes this game. Anyway, I played that this week. I have 43 out of 55 achievements. And that's just for playing.
That's just for being a good little boy.
So I might go through and try like the New Game Plus. I have no idea what that adds to it, but I will say the best part about going into it was knowing nothing. I didn't know anything. And so the story, nothing was spoiled for me. Nothing was like, I literally, there were times going through it where I was like, get out. like actually into it. And even Christina was watching me, and I'm just gonna be careful how I say something, but she made a comment to me about something, and I was like, no, this happened. And she's like, what? So yeah, man, awesome. It was a really, really well done game. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you have Game Pass, because the fact that you could play it for free is insane. But for $58, man, I think it's better than any game I've ever played. I can't think of a game where I've had that much of a just draw into it. And I love the Souls game. Like the Elden Ring sounds like, I don't know, sound like death behind me. Anyway.
Yeah, we should just wait until after the podcast to check it out.
It's fine. You know what it reminded me of? Home Alone, when the old guy's dragging the garbage can and they're all scared of him.
Yeah.
That was the sound that it reminded me of. Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyway, it was a good week, but I cannot say enough good things about that game.
That's really cool.
Amazing. So much fun. So
I remember those days. You and I, we loved back in like original Xbox days. There was a Return of the King. It was a Lord of the Rings game. Like it was actually a really good turn-based game. Mm-hmm. You and I were really into Lost Odyssey. That was a wicked. I think that was a 360 game. That was.
I don't remember that one.
Turn-based game. Really cool. I really liked the story. And then we also really liked. We both really actually liked the story itself of Shadow of Colossus, not just the exploration, but the unique emotional storytelling of both the world and the characters combined. So when you have a praise like this towards a game, I can resonate with it quite easily. I can easily trust your opinion on it based on how you describe it and what you compared it to. So don't know if I'll get it, but I know that if I did, I would love it as much as you.
The storytelling is amazing. And you're a team that you have a team that's more people than how many you can have fighting, but as you're exploring, they're all still part of the story, so they're talking to each other as you're going. Oh, buddy, it was crazy good. Like super, super cool story premise, really well told, and then just dude, the zones, the like areas, just the visuals combined with the music. Oh, it was super good, amazing game. So
and it's anybody's looking for something to do, right?
Check it out. It's open world. It's definitely open world. The zones are open, but somewhat linear in the sense that you're going to eventually make it to your objective within the zone that you're in. But the world itself is open world. But it also, like, it was so fun because it was rewarding to explore. And I love that, like, where you actually feel like you're getting value out of like, oh, I could go left or right. And then you go left, you're like, oh shit, there was a right back there. I got to go see what's there. Like, I love that stuff. So
that's the thing about that action games does really well, is the choice of the matter. And you bring in a good segue, of course, because of what's been released this week with Path of Exile in terms of rewards. But that's one thing that I really like about, like, that was huge in terms of my time consumption with games like Fallout 3, which had a worse, but as a result, more punishing choices in terms of its map. You're in a vault, right? And it's like, okay, I want to go this one, I want to go this one. But then you're going to get distracted. You're going to forget about the 3 different paths. You're going to come back to one, but then you're going to get lost and you're not going to know which way it was. And like, there's just so many. And games like PoE, those are just itches they're never going to be able to scratch. Totally different genre, totally different kind of gameplay. And so you got to kind of venture out of it. And that's really cool when you do that kind of stuff. I remember even going back to some of the games that we listed back then, the difficulty of some of those choices, or the nervousness of not doing every single side thing you could possibly do before you go and do the main thing. That was one thing I actually really liked about Shadow of the Colossus. With the exception of chopping up lizards and finding apples, it was just go find it, man. There was no side quest, you know what I mean? And so that was pretty fun.
This one's interesting too, because it's not even like you get side quests. You do sort of, like, people talk to you and they say they could use something, but there's nothing on your game anywhere that tells you that this is something you need to do or something you should be doing. Like, you have to remember that. Besides the main quest, the rest of it is just like that. At one point, I fought this one thing, and one of the characters in my party was like, "Oh, you should have enough skin for this thing now." And I was like, "Oh, I totally forgot about that." Like, I didn't even remember
I like that
I was doing that side quest. So, anyway, it was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed playing it this week.
Cool. So say the name again, since this is an unpaid promo. Tell people to buy it.
Fuck, what's it called? Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Claire Obscure. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you have Game Pass. The fact that it's free on Game Pass is crazy, but I think it cost me $58 to buy it on Steam. Best $58 for a game I've ever spent. It was so much fun, and it's all controller, so I could just chill.
Yeah. Oh, I love. You've been converted to my religion. Listen, I don't have Game Pass.
No,
I'm one of the few people left on the planet that still have my original Xbox subscription.
Doesn't include Game Pass?
No, it's called Core, and it's still like $70 a year instead of the $17 a month that they want.
What do you get? Still just online play or what?
Anybody can play online, or maybe not.
What do you get?
I don't remember.
Oh,
but like nothing.
I mean, I have Game Pass, but I don't use it. It's for my kid.
Yeah.
So I should cancel that until he gets a job, if you're hearing this, Logan. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good luck streaming, Logan. For Game Pass Ultimate, you need a hefty income.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Every time I get the bill each month, I'm like, $21? What the
You have the Ultimate, so at least you can stream all your favorite Xbox games, Justin.
I don't even know why I have Ultimate. I don't know why I have. Is there a cheaper one? Can I be?
But that's why. Well, there is the normal Game Pass, and then there's the Ultimate Game Pass.
Why am I paying for Ultimate?
For all those day one releases you can't wait for.
That mother effer. Why am I paying?
But you also get the free cloud gaming, and that's why you could play Wreckfest, and Josh couldn't because he has the normal Game Pass. Because he's poor.
I honestly have no idea why I have Ultimate. I'm sure at one point it was for some game that he was like, "Dad, I gotta get this," and then I just haven't canceled it.
My guess is you've had it for like you needed to sign up for Xbox probably to play like Red Dead with us or something back in the COVID days.
I haven't had it that long. There was a time where he wanted.
You were like, "What? I have 6 options. I'm picking the most expensive."
It's got to be the best stuff.
That's right. The bigger GBs.
All right, let's talk about Path of Exile.
Let's talk about Path of Exile.
I haven't seen any of the stuff, so like
you haven't. Okay, no. So what's your timeline like? Because we used up. We're almost finished when we would normally record, but we had our tech issues. So what's your
about 10 minutes? I'm just looking through right now. Okay.
Don't you dare. Okay, hang on. Stop. Yeah.
Okay.
So hang on. There's 2 things. Private League and loot.
Okay, but I haven't even got to that yet.
Can we do Private League before loot? Let's do Path of Exile 1 then. So that's the bottom link.
Oh, so you want to do that before the hotfix stuff?
Yes.
Okay,
because
hold on. Private League, I see it.
All right. So with all that stuff, actually it doesn't matter. Private Leagues are on now. We're recording May 2nd. They started up May 1st. Super. So if we go onto the website and we go to events and Private Leagues, create a new Private League, you'll see all the, still standard and hardcore, but you'll see a whole bunch more of the standard effects. And it says free in brackets. It's legit free.
I'm looking at it right now to create it.
Like free. This whole time I've been unsure because that's crazy, but you click on any one of them.
20,000 people, that's it.
Right.
And we're limited.
Yeah, that's right. That's how popular we are. No, so you do Settlers plus alternate ascendancies for free, and it's just legit right off the bat.
Good for them.
It's not even just the template. It's the whole thing. So normally, and this isn't anything we're not asking for anything, but just normally when you're setting up a private league, if you haven't, you set it up, you have your mods, the mods themselves, if you want extra monster damage or cast speed, whatever it is, those don't cost anything. But no matter what base league you choose, it starts you off with 10 spots. And for 10 days. A 10-day duration. If you want the duration of the league to be longer, it costs. If you want 10 more user spots, it costs. And so, of course, when you have leagues like Ziz's Big League, if that wasn't partially sponsored or totally sponsored, that costs $1,000 easy. So this is really cool that the Now, these are Path of Exile 1 and PC only for those that are new and came in with Path of Exile 2. It's PC only and Path of Exile 1, but completely free. So they don't let you modify the modifiers, but...
No. A couple things. The first thing I want to say is, so now we know what templates are.
Yes, we do.
So they'll be able to use that word again without me being annoyed. We have to pick which one we want for our private league, but also we can't pick an end date. So we're just going to have to like get on at the time in the day that we... What do you
mean we can't pick an end date?
You can't pick an end date.
Like, so it just goes for the whole month?
May 30th at 3 p.m. our time. Oh, it does.
You're right.
So
it doesn't. So the reason that I wanted to bring this up earlier, and I didn't notice that when I was checking it out before, the reason I wanted to bring it up now is because if we wanted to do this for Mother's Day, for any of the mothers that listen to us, and they were like, my Mother's Day, I'm going to be playing video games all day. And if they wanted to, play in our private league for that, I want to say, hey, why don't we have the private league start this coming Friday? Right. So I want to get it out in this podcast, or at least the idea, so that people are like, oh, maybe it's going to happen. And then they can come on our Discord to click on the link quick. Right. So that's why I want to get this out, so that it wasn't, we get too distracted by all the other big news that has happened this week with Path of Exile 2. So that's why I want to say it. So whether that's actually happening or not, if you're listening and you want to spend your Mother's Day, fathers, don't spend your Mother's Day gaming unless you absolutely hate each other and you've already done your obligatory gifts. Anyway, I was thinking on Friday.
So you want to start on Friday next week?
Yeah, that is the 9th. Oh, actually, honestly, but I guess that's the point. I was expecting us to do the normal 10 days. There's nothing, we could just start this now. It's not going to change anything.
But you want it, are we not doing an end date?
We can't.
Well, we can, because all it is, it's for legend status. This is a big deal. This is for legend and Uber legend and stuff.
So we have like a legend on our Discord. We have little, not really rankings, but kind of rankings.
Big deal.
Yeah. See, they're our favorites.
Different color, you get an icon.
That's right. And then whenever we read their messages, Justin and I are like, wow, that's a legend.
We read their messages is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, that's right. Those are the only colors we read. No, but the point, like normally we give out a legend status for the top podium finishes for a class 3, or whatever it is for the league, top 10 for the whole league. We've changed it over time, but whatever. But that's because we've had a duration. We always tried to revolve our rules and our timelines around a duration. Now, typically, no matter what, there's always going to be people that have more time than other people to take advantage of and have more chances to reach, the podium, right? But in this case, there's nothing we can do about it. Do you want to do a legend status for this, even though it's a whole month?
Because we will not be doing I can't think of when we're doing a private league. Like, we haven't done a private league in forever. So yes, I definitely I don't necessarily want it to be for a month though. I mean,
well, so do you want to start this on the 20th since this goes to May 30th? Do you want to start this on the 20th and have it as our standard 10 days? I mean, that's still
the alternative though is just on the day we pick as the end is when we open up the thing and just look at whatever's current. There's nothing stopping us from just looking at the standings on the day that we choose as our end.
We could. It's just at that point, there's no room for... I don't know, arguments sound silly, but like there's nothing we can go back and double check. When we go back and look at the link, it's all going to be skewed because people can keep playing in it.
I don't care. I mean, to me, there's the idea of doing a league for 3 weeks or whatever is, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is a benefit because then more people can find time to play it. I don't know.
It is also double. Like, what if people are going away for Mother's Day, right?
Can we even see it when it's done? Do we even get all the stats on the 30th? I would assume we do. Hey, I don't mind running a longer one and just like letting it go, especially if we're doing hardcore. I guess it'll give people more chance to like come back if they get annoyed that they died. So we could do that.
We could. Either. Do you want to talk about this in After Dark, or you want to just choose?
We'll actually get it planned in After Dark. Let's do that.
Okay.
Because there's stuff we need to talk about. We need to figure out like which modifiers and like which templates. So let's talk about that. That'll be After Dark, and then it'll be in Discord if you want to play. We'll have it in Discord. By the time you're hearing this, it will already be in Discord. So
yeah. And if you find the link before we've announced it, go play. Have a great time. We'll go. Figure it out. Let it go.
Yeah, that's actually true. Right. We don't necessarily have to say it's starting on the 9th. It could start tonight.
Unless we choose to do like that 10-day limitation, which that is puts Justin's,
more work on us.
Justin, you're such royalty.
You didn't stop when I said stop, so death.
Well, I'm not going to play for a month. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's something to come back to. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Let's talk about an After Dark.
I might need the month because my wife has turned into an absolute stream
you
hog.
Don't get the PC
I don't even get the computer, and this is PC only now. So I need the computer for this.
Move out the way, Aaron.
How come you didn't say the line before that, Just?
No, because I'm a polite person.
All right. Okay. Good.
After Dark, we'll sort that out. Perfect. That's awesome.
Way. And goodness me, does it feel good? Yeah. Hey. Thanks, Triple G, for the free stuff.
That's very cool. God, I can't even imagine how many freaking private leagues they must have going on where people are like, I want to play it by myself. I'll just make my own.
Right? Oh, great. Maybe it's like, you know how companies have to, like, in terms of budgets, there's some departments or companies where they're like desperately trying to spend the money in their budget so that, you know, when it comes to meeting time and the new budget revisions, they could be like, no. We spent and we need more. So maybe they're doing that. So maybe they have some sort of contract or something with how they pay for their servers where it's like, we're paying for these servers and they're not being used. So here's how we can fill them up.
I'm curious if the Path of Exile 1 Reddit is full of like, join my league. That's funny.
Good for them. Descendancy Settlers League is mine's better than the other person.
That's right. Okay, so hot
fixes. Yeah, just go through the patches because the other stuff
bugged. Oh, is the G1 out now?
Yes.
Okay.
They actually they had real technical issues applying it, and then there was an issue, and then reverting it. They ran into huge technical issues. The realm was down. Like, I felt so bad for GG, but I also felt bad for the players. The realm, actually, they couldn't revert the patch after they tried to apply the G. It didn't work, and they couldn't reverse it. There's an explanation for it if you want to read it a little bit lower.
Well, no, you tell me while I'm just looking through the patch
basically
notes.
What happened, well, I don't know that. I mean, they like to explain the specifics, but
give me your technical version.
So when they hit button A, it didn't do what button A was supposed to be. So they went back to B, but B did C, and then C was not what they wanted B or A to be. So then they just said, nope.
Okay, I'm going to have to read it.
You asked for the technical description. No, basically, they couldn't revert it, and the realm just didn't get restarted. It was down for like half a day.
Oh, wow, really?
Like, it was, damn. Half a day might be an exaggeration. It might not be. I don't have the exact time, but it was a day where I wanted to play all day.
So is there a downside to me adding to the note right now, reading? Because I just read a couple lines and I'm like, oh shit, I actually want to read this. And
so which one do you want? Which are you?
I'm on patch notes for G.
Okay. That is huge and astronomical. Take your time with it. I do have the time today. I have nothing else besides chores. So take as long as you want. And I am going to go tell my girlfriends to stop knocking on the door. I'm busy. It's Friday. Okay. They know better.
All right. Just all making a note. Yep. Okay, cool. So, and now this one is live. I did read their incident report regarding what had happened. That sucks for them, but also, you know what? Shit happens and you got to do what you got to do to fix it. I'm glad they were able to fix it. It's interesting reading some of that stuff going like, man, that's crazy that some of the stuff, if they had to do it, would take over 24 hours. And like, this was their shortest option possible, but good for them doing it. G is crazy.
It is. Oh, hang on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Have you played this patch yet?
I wanted to, but the theory crafting ideas that I have are dependent on certain triggers and mana and stuff like that. And so I had a tiny bit of time last night. For the first time in forever, I had time to play. And that was the time that the G patch was actually down and in the process of not being able to be reverted. So that kind of sucked. But then when I actually was able to load gameplay just last night after the hockey games were done, NHL playoffs. So sorry.
Oh yeah. Go teams.
But go non-Vancouver Canucks teams. Mm-hmm. But I loaded it up, but I had to answer my questions with like, okay, I got to try this. And it was only with the one character that I had. And I had to respec my character to do that. So unfortunately, that used up all my time. So I didn't get to actually play around with the drops. But
yeah, because this G patch would mean time. Like you would notice it over time. It's not something you notice it when you've got just popped on.
I mean, yeah, I could always restart as a Chronomancer. And
why would you restart? Don't do that.
But this is so big, not just because of what it does, but the attitude the company has underneath it. To me, this is huge.
Yes, I hope that it is huge. Sorry, I'm just getting notified. Make sure you take your pill because I'm an old man that doesn't remember sometimes. It definitely has the potential to be like it. Just reading it, I'm very excited. I agree with you. Like the fact that they're going this way is awesome.
It is. Can I point out that you muted your reminder to take a pill?
No, I confirmed. I already take it.
Oh, you did? Okay. yeah. Like, hang on, I got a reminder to take my pill because I forget sometimes. All right, confirm.
Mute that.
Take no pill.
No, I definitely take that one. It's really cool that they are going this direction. Some of this stuff I read and it made me smile and kind of laugh a little bit because I remember us talking about this. Like when you click a yellow chest, why do you not get a yellow item? When you click a blue one, like that's a great change for them to just have implemented. And the culling of bad and low tier modifiers, like it's going to be interesting to see if that's meaningful in the sense of like what you're getting. It sounds great though. It really does.
It does. And we were talking in the last couple of weeks that you can't let your crappy loot situation stay in this state for much longer. Like if you want to release by Christmas, like it's May, you have half a year, right? Like you got to figure out your loot. And so this patch needed to happen, and it needed to happen soon, in my opinion. Luckily for them, they have diehards that play 8+ hours a day, 5 days a week. So, they can get some results pretty quick, or like information that they need really quick. But I love that. Yeah. And I totally get where GGG's coming from, the old way of if you guarantee a rare item, a yellow item, because you clicked on that yellow chest, that's like RNG cheating. Like I get that. Like I get like the pure RNG element of it's just mathematical chance.
It's still RNG on the item though. So
sure. It's less RNG.
Don't make it yellow then.
You taking. So again, like this isn't what is fun because this is what we did in Path of Exile. You'd click on 1 million chests and they were completely pointless.
But they were all
and
white.
There'd be a million of them. Well, I'm talking when they just in Path of Exile 1. And then when they went to rarity here, it still had the same element of why do they even have chests? Like that was one of my feedbacks when we went to LA. It's my one mirror. But hey, I got mirrors before people could even get mirrors. So it was a big deal. But no, like that was one of my complaints from LA. Yeah, but it was awesome. There's no point, like stop throwing chests at me. They are completely pointless. And on controller, they prioritize over a lot of other things. Like they are so pointless. And so here they made chests more valuable and had less of them, which is something that should have happened 20 years ago in Path of Exile. But like they've just done so much. But the fact that they were willing to do that RNG cheat, you click on a rare box and you get a rare item. You kill a magic enemy. Right? A rare enemy, you defeating a rare or a unique boss in the axe after a certain point guarantees a certain rarity item. Like that, especially when not just adding that, but then changing the modifier setup that they currently have. Like you said, calling more crappy rolls, crappy tiers of modifiers, adding those together is
it's awesome. And
anti-GGG, but it's going to make it a lot of fun. That's what we've always wanted.
Especially because as you get into higher tier maps, you start to get tiered loot dropping. So, but it which meant it was supposed to potentially roll better modifiers on it. But the problem was you still had all the shit modifiers. So even if I happened to get a T4 item that I wanted, there's a good chance that something's still going to roll on there that's going to wreck it. So for them to say like, hey, not only are they going to drop more often, but we're dumping and culling the chances of you having those shitty modifiers on there. This is what we wanted back in Path of Exile 1. Like I shouldn't be in an item 85 area getting terrible, like
plus 10 to max life.
Yeah. Like that it's not fun when that happens. So it'll be really fun to try this in maps now and see like if you're actually noticing that difference. I imagine you must be.
Yeah. And then they even changed the gold values so that, in situations you're more likely to drop an item or currency, but then you're going to get like the gold that drops is going to be less frequent, but in greater quantity. So it's just so much intertwined here, which
I didn't see anything in
is
here.
Neat.
Did they get rid of the stupid shrine? There's I don't know what it's called, avarice or something. There's a shrine you can get in maps that turns your items to gold. You just get more gold. Every time I get that stupid thing, I have to go to town to get rid of it. Because you can't click it off with controller support like you could in PC.
With controller, can you still use the mouse on your screen?
No. I mean, you can mouse over things.
Because you used to be able to, even with controller support, I could right click with the mouse.
Right click. I tried.
To get, okay.
Yeah. But hopefully they get rid of that. That shrine never made sense to me. It's like, what? I want drops. Like, what the fuck? Right. Turning all of a sudden my good drops get me like 3,000 coins. Ooh, sweet. That's cool
so
though. I'm excited to try
item
that
drops, unique drops, the wisps encounters. They don't. So here. I wrote a couple things down because I didn't want to forget.
Let me just say my part about wisps real quick then, because I have played quite a bit with the wisps. The wisps won't ever be fixed until they make the wisps faster to get into a mob. The fact that I have to sit there and not kill the rare enemy while I wait for the wisp to infect it is weird. I don't like that.
You know what the answer is, Justin? Nerfs.
Kill slower.
You're too strong.
Yeah.
So stop killing stuff so fast.
No, that's
tell
not
them
the
your
fix.
builds so they can nerf a little bit.
It needs to be like an area
like
of effect. Like once it's in the area that it affects it or something. But because for me, this is great that they're going to make them drop better stuff. But until the wisp is faster at actually infecting the rare, it sucks because you're sitting there waiting for you can't kill the enemy because you got to wait.
Yep. Now, last week we emphasized we were talking campaign the last couple of weeks, and despite the fact that neither of us were happy with the campaign, you still have to do things incrementally, baby steps, right? We referenced the fact that the team can't make a big change and then go back on it kind of thing. Like that's much more difficult, not just from community wise, but then also just dealing with your game internally. Here, so the same thing goes with loot, same thing goes with any aspect of a game this massive and complicated and intertwined. But there's a couple things here that I want to point out. So they say wisps now feel much better from those changes, referencing general loot changes in general. But so it says wisps now feel much better from those changes alone, but and then they made further changes, right? And then they list those. And then they also have comments like, we didn't feel that rare and magic chests were exciting enough. So obviously the community feedback was this, but they say we didn't feel that rare and magic chests were exciting enough. And so I'm really curious because they made changes upon changes upon changes for specific things like wisps or strong boxes or delirium, right? I'm sure there were others as well, but they made changes upon changes. So I'm really curious how long they've been dwelling on the loot situation, because some of these seem like they're not baby steps at all. You know what I mean?
Some of these were things that the people at some point said no to, like that they've been something that's been discussed and there's been pushback towards not wanting to do them. And then maybe it's gotten to the point where the fact is these are a lot of changes that they needed to do. So, I mean,
yeah,
good on them, especially because I look at these going like, oh, these are awesome. These are major changes, but we know that they are a baby step type, and they've said it before, we can't take it back once we do it. So the fact that they're going this far is great as that first step.
Yeah. And it is a step, but the fact that they're willing to make these changes, these RNG cheats, as I call them, like you're guaranteed a yellow item from a yellow box, that kind of stuff where it's going against the mathematical equation. Here's what you would have had. But like as Path of Exile 1 players know, it's not fun, right? It takes away from the experience when there's just something tedious that has such a low percentage that even if you end up getting something, it goes back to not being fun right away. So this is really neat for them to kind of go against what they typically have been so married to, but the willingness to do that. I mean, think about they've done that so many times now with this game. How many things have they changed from Path of Exile 1 where the impolite term would be, they were sticks in the mud for this, right? But how many of those things that have they changed? Like even monster combinations. We didn't even think, being Path of Exile 1 players, that was even a conversation they cared about. That was the impression you got. Whereas now it seems like it's a big deal. Like everything's being willing to be looked at. So really cool. But at the end of the day, I mean, their company name reflects this. Grinding for gear. It is gear why we play this game. It is the loot.
I like the concept.
It needs to be exciting.
That the further I progress, the better my gear gets. Like that, I want to feel that. And so for me, the biggest thing out of all this is the new changes to T2 and above tiered items that can drop, because then there's like, you feel good about pushing the harder content because you're potentially going to be rewarded with more stuff. I do like they made some changes to the pinnacle content, like Breach and Delirium Splinters, because those were, we talked about this too. I actually still think the King in the Ritual, I don't know what 50% increased odds means. I have to play it to see, but like it's too RNG to be able to progress that tree, and that sucks. So, but it's at least good that they're increasing how many you get. And then the Corrupted Nexus thing, I'm really curious to see how that plays out, but it also is a little annoying that that wasn't on launch, because that's just straight up not playing your end game enough before it's released, which that's going to be the case for them for a lot of stuff. But to know that was a grind, and a very frustrating grind, is a little weird to me that wasn't caught beforehand. But I'm very excited that it's at least done now, because the whole point of the Atlas is my Atlas passive tree. That's the fun part of that. That was my favorite part about Path of Exile 1. When they brought that in, it was just, you felt good about every map you completed because you knew you get a new point. So my hope is that this does feel like it's a noticeable difference for finding those nexuses, because I don't mind having to do the nexuses. Like, that's fine. That's fun. But they were too hard to find. So that's good. I like it.
It is.
Now I'm going to have to try it.
That's right. And good timing, because apparently LE's ticked your box, right? And you're finished with Expedition 33.
I don't know if I'm where I am. I'm with any of them, but I was laughing at myself even this week. I was like, that is the type of gamer I am. Like, last Epoch, I went hard. Played the crap out of it, loved it, and then I'm on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't often. I think Path of Exile is one of the few games where I think back and then go, "Oh, I want to play that one," because I play it so consistently. But
well, this isn't an Age of Empires podcast, that's for sure.
No, it's not.
I don't think it ever could be. So, did you try those Lancasters?
This is a really great change for my existing characters. I still am not in a great spot for the idea of wanting to roll alts, but hopefully that's something that gets addressed as time progresses with them, because I do have other builds I would love to try. I've talking to somebody on Discord about a warrior build, but I don't want to level. I'm not interested in 15 hours of my time just to get to the end game. So this is very exciting for end game, though. For me, at least. I don't care about it from the campaign side. I think it is probably still very good, because you're talking about unique bosses now guaranteeing some drops, and you make drops better, which means your build should feel stronger. That's awesome.
I like it.
Yo.
Cool, man. Cool. So I got a question for you before we take off.
Yep.
Originally, when Path of Exile 2 was way announced, and then as you know, you get used to the progression of how it turned into something a few years, not into what it is now, but before. I guess maybe a little bit now. But anyway, we were originally hoping that the sequel, Path of Exile 2, was going to be the first game, but just fixing all the crap we hated about the first game. There was a point when we weren't expecting this to be an entirely new everything. We knew updates were going to be made, but we didn't expect change for the sake of change in some of these situations. You know what I mean? We were just expecting it to be a very similar experience to the first game, but just a lot more well-designed, thought out, with all the long-term consequences that they learned from with the first game, right? Path of Exile 2 has definitely taken quite a lot of twists and turns that a lot of people, fans, didn't expect. Not like our expectation has anything to do with anything, but it has. But that was what we were originally thinking. Path of Exile 1 just fixed. Fixed loot, fixed visual clarity, fixed in-game information. Okay, awesome. That's the sequel we've been dreaming of. Now, let's say GGG makes these enemy modifications that we've loved in this game, the mob density modifications, the loot modifications. Let's say all these changes that we love about Path of Exile 2 happen in Path of Exile 1 now. Let's say they give Path of Exile 1 that same love. Which game's more enticing to you now?
2.
But why? Dodge roll?
Well, dodge roll's a big part of it.
Okay.
My wrists do better with Path of Exile 2. Like, I loved Path of Exile 1, played it like crazy, but the fact is, it would hurt and I would just stop playing because of that. I didn't like the piano mashing of trying to figure out, do I want to hurt my fingers or do I want to like skirt the line and run an auto hotkey that helps me? Like, that's not fun. I don't want to play the game that way. So Path of Exile 2 is very easy for me because I can play it on controller. I'm limited to the amount of buttons I have, so I have to plan around that. And that's easier than, I'm not one of those friggin' crazy finger people that can like move their fingers all over the place to like know which button. I can type really fast, but I can't like play a game and know like QER 1 2 3. I used to be able to. Can't do it anymore. Don't want to. And I also don't want to buy a mouse that has a bunch of buttons on the side. So Path of Exile 2 is more simple for me in the sense of like helping my wrists, helping my fingers. It's just an easier gameplay. But it's also like, it's new, so it's fun. Like Path of Exile 1 is great, but Path of Exile 1 was always a 2-week play for me. Almost always. Every 3 months, play it for 2 weeks, maybe 3. And then I play something else until I wait for the next, league launch. So if I had a choice between the two, I'd lean towards 2 just because it looks nicer. It's, it's newer. There's not much about Path of Exile 1 that would pull me back besides the fact that it's just, I know it, it's comfortable. But yeah, for me, it's 2. I assume for you, it's probably not. I assume for you, it's probably PoE 1.
Well, when I was thinking about this yesterday, I'm like, man, these are changes that like we've always dreamed that the original game had. Like there'd be so much less desperation for a complete overhaul or fix if the mentality towards loot was given the same treatment in the original game than it is now. And this, the original mod, all the mentality towards mob combinations and even like just the concept that hasted mod could go on an already fast base type enemy, just the recognition of that combination. You know what I mean? Like I just apply all that stuff to Path of Exile 1 and I'm like, man, that's what I always wanted. But as I was thinking about this question, because I was really curious what your answer would be, but then I started reflecting and thinking about it for myself last night. And I was like, man, I still think I would choose PoE 2 as well. Because, well, it's just going to get better. As we've said 100 times, Path of Exile 2 is just going to get better. But if I hate leveling in Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2, what's the difference? You know what I mean? And the gameplay is way better. Like the gameplay itself. Like ignore like the fact that how long the campaign is or the state of endgame currently, whatever it is. But the gameplay itself with these changes and then with the changes that are to come, it's just more fun. And as I was thinking, my answer was actually the exact same thing. It's familiarity. Like there's still a ton in the first game that really needs a strong overhaul for it to, I don't know, be a thoughtful game, I guess you could say, from the user's perspective, right? Like so much from like level design and visual clarity, both with skills and with monsters. And like it's balanced when you're used to it, but it's still such an unfriendly game, not in terms of difficulty, but in terms of like, really? Like that's how it was released? That's the way it is? And so when you look at a lot of level design now, and you look at the visual clarity of skills and how it all works together. Sure, there's glitches, but again, even with things like dodge roll, how movement speed impacts the game, but how to unlock it and where, like just without those movement skills, that's such a big thing that I haven't heard a conversation about in quite a long time. Like there's still so much in Path of Exile 2 that I really prefer over Path of Exile 1, even if you weren't to have these changes. So my answer is the same as yours.
I think it actually, I mean, just being a little bit of a devil's advocate here or just posing an odd comment, but I feel like I might be a little concerned if they introduced all of the same changes into Path of Exile 1, because that would mean that they still think they can maintain both games. And
Oh yeah, right.
Like I don't
expect
think
the first
they
game
can.
to die.
Yeah, I really don't think they can maintain both. We'll see how it goes. Maybe, I guess, as they get closer to being able to launch a full Path of Exile 2 experience, which God knows that's not the end of this year. So, I don't know. Just being a bit of a turd with my comment there. But like, if they all of a sudden introduced a lot of that same stuff, they're like, hey, we're bringing it to Path of Exile 1. Yeah, part of me would be like, oh, guys, you still think you're going to do it, eh? Like, you're wasting resources. But,
well, part of me, because remember, Path of Exile 2 has been a long time coming. And so we've had years of episodes where it's like, oh, I bet you this is testing for Path of Exile 2. Oh, I'll bet you, even all the way back into the heist days when they changed how dialogue works, right? And the different menus for that, I bet you we're testing for Path of Exile 2. I wonder if this private league setup is testing for Path of Exile 1, right? I could see Path of Exile, them not letting go of Path of Exile, but not updating it. So, okay, here's Path of Exile, and we're not coming out with any more leagues for it. This is just, it's the game. If you want to play Path of Exile, here it is. But not just standard, and always it being one league for forever and ever. So I could see them doing like a reset every 3 months, but not providing new content for it. So just keeping it, maintaining it, and then you get a reset every 3 months, like a new league kind of thing, but giving you the option to do your own free leagues.
Yeah, but that's expensive
part of
for
that.
them.
Well, maybe not. Like, it depends on, can they share that load, or can the different games, like, I don't know how servers work and how you buy them, if it has to be separate, if you can share. I don't know how it works, but I'm just saying, like, I see, that's where I see the future of Path of Exile 1 is, we're not going to be updating it in terms of any leagues, but we're going to provide you a free reset every 3 months so that the economy is fresh for those that really like trade. And then that'll be it. It'll be Path of Exile 2 from that point on. That's how I see it.
Yeah, maybe. I think for them to get to that point, they will have to know and feel that Path of Exile 2 is in the best possible state ever and just be loved by everybody, because I think they will hold on to the fact that they still have Path of Exile 1 for as long as they possibly can, because it will keep people happy when they are figuring things out through Path of Exile 2. But anyway, I was just in my head, I was thinking if they all of a sudden introduce some of these changes, I'd be like, shit, these guys think they can do it still.
Well, maybe it'll happen during early access, and that's when it should happen. Like, for them to test that idea for themselves and try and maintain it. But if that kind of stuff starts happening post-launch,
well, I think post-launch is actually a better time to do it. I think after the full release is out, then go ahead and see if you can pull in some of this stuff to Path of Exile 1. But right now, I'm missing like 5 classes, 15 ascendancies, like 3 acts. I don't want you to fix Path of Exile 1 loot. I want to play the new PoE 2 stuff.
But maybe it's not that difficult to do now that they might have a system for it. Who knows how easy that would be or not to implement into the first game.
It takes them a week to do it, and we've been waiting for 10 years.
Well, they're coming out with 326 in 2028. So maybe that's something that they can just add to the system. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, they learned a lot from this one. I mean, all the different aspects of the game that this impacted, where they couldn't even roll the game back. So
maybe the game rollback was there. We went too far. The numbers were too high. Cancel it all.
Right. They quickly make adjustments. Changed a whole bunch of stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. They have these patch notes, but really they're secretly giggling in the
all
room,
of those percentages were like double.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
All right, sweet. Let's wrap this up. And we'll talk about the Private League and After Dark. Forever Exiled 291. I'm Justin AK Tags.
I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Patrons will catch you in After Dark, where we'll discuss the Private League and who knows what else. Everybody else will see you next week, 292. Private League information will be on Discord, which you should be on if you're not in. Our Discord is very fun. We have a website, foreverexiled.com, and Patreon, Other Way Sport Podcast. You'll find them down below and on other places as well. Got it.
Hey, Justin. Yeah, you nailed it. I hear an echo. I'm done. I'm just joking. Nailed it.